Hey everyone, and welcome in to the Tim and Jim Show. I'm Tim Sohn here, hanging out with my red wall here in Pennsylvania with Sohn Social Media Solutions, and I'm excited to be back here with my trusty friend and co-host, Mr. Jim Fuhs. How are you over there, my friend?
I'm doing great, Tim. It's actually starting to feel like fall, which has actually
Yes.
been a better experience than I thought. I went running yesterday, and I think it
Oh,
was in
yeah.
the 50s or 60s. It felt nice. It was as I think my wife likes to say sometimes, it was refreshing. Refreshing.
Refreshing. Yes. And let
Yes.
us know where the weather is where you are, because we want to know that.
Yeah. So we've actually had I was able to open the sliding glass door, have the screen, and the fresh air is getting into the house because that's the only screen we have on our house. All the other windows, it's just
Just one
bears
swing.
and the turkeys and everybody else could get in, and we don't want any of that going on.
Yeah, and it's also that time of year where when you go to Dunkin', they have pumpkin everything and apple
Yes,
everything, and
yes. I know
that
she may
time.
not be watching, but I'll give a shout out to our friend Chrissy Buck, who
Yes.
is Miss Pumpkin Spice. She's all about all the pumpkin
Yes.
spice people are coming out of the woodwork, so to speak, and so
Yes.
I don't mind it. I don't know. What about you? Are you pumpkin spice or not pumpkin spice? Let us know in the comments. Spice or no
Yeah.
spice?
Spice or no spice or Old Spice.
Old Spice. There
Yes.
you go.
I do like pumpkin. It's kind of a downfall for me this time of year. I don't know if it's a downfall. It's just something I like, and then it's
I
sometimes
like
it's just
I
kind of
like
hard to avoid it.
pumpkin pie over sweet
Oh.
potato pie. What about you?
Me too. Yes, me too. And let us know if you also, which one do you prefer? And welcome to the food show, because that's where we're
And
going today.
you do need coffee. Well, but these are things you want at live events, especially. So Tim,
Mm,
having a live event in November, which you like how I segued
yes,
there.
I
Um,
like
are
that
you going to
segue.
have pumpkin
Yes.
spice with your coffee for the people that are coming to your event?
Ooh, I should, right? I mean, now that
Yeah,
the event,
it'll still be that time of year.
it will be that time of year. Yes. The Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer event that was going to be September 10th, which was slightly rescheduled because me and my family all became ill leading up to it, is now going to be on November 5th. Yeah, maybe we'll have some fall flavors. Maybe we'll have some pumpkin spice. Maybe we'll have some apple cider. Maybe
Ooh,
we'll gather around a fire. Maybe we'll sing some songs. I don't know. But the one
well,
cool thing about the event being rescheduled is Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer. The show was actually created in November of 2021, and the in person event is going to be about 1 year later. So we have to at least have cake to celebrate, Jim.
has it been a year?
In November, it will be 1 year.
Oh my gosh, it
Yeah.
just seems like yesterday.
Right?
But then last month we celebrated 4 years of this show,
Can
which
you believe
it doesn't seem like it's been 4 years,
it? Doesn't. It doesn't.
but
And
I
then it
but I
will
was
be 5 years
updating
next year.
our Twitter, list of all our guests, and we've had a lot of guests. So yeah, we have a Twitter
We
list. If you
have.
guys go look on my Twitter, it's the Tim and Shim Show guests. So some of you that have been guests, if you're not on Twitter, maybe get on Twitter so we can add you, and then that way we can engage with your tweets off of that list and show our support for you as you have for us.
Definitely, definitely. And Jim, should we say hello to the people that are tuning in as we're just rambling on here
Yes,
about
we can say hello
food
to the
and
people.
drinks and apple and pumpkin and
And football's back.
oh no, we have the sports episode we have to go into here.
Yes.
Marielle is here. She says, "Hi Tim, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here." Russ
Yes.
Hedge is here with his woo woo woohoo,
Yeah.
with his
Good to see you,
energy.
Russ.
He's always full of energy. Thanks for
And
being
speaking
here.
of Russ and Tim, I should tell you and
Yes.
everyone else, if you're interested, Friday, if you want to have a little bit of virtual event stuff, is
Yeah.
the Global Tea Break at
Ooh.
10 o'clock Eastern Time, hosted by D. Scott Smith and Alan Hennessy. It's always great to be a part of that. Once a month, it's a Zoom. And so, yeah, let me know if you guys want some info about that. We'd love to get people to join us. It's a great networking event, and so yeah, that's this Friday, third Friday of the month, right? Can you believe it's the third Friday
Friday
of the
at
month?
10 o'clock Eastern? Sorry.
Yes, yes. You should
Global
come,
tea
Tim.
break.
You
I should. I've been to one, but I should come to more.
should come back. Come back, Tim.
Yes, come back, Tim. Come back, Jack. Come back, Jack. Shout out to Titanic. And thank you, Shannon Epps, for being here. Shout out to Shannon. Thank you. And thank you. Oh, Russ Hedge is putting the URL in there. So thank you.
Rough Edge.
And Shannon also loves the global tea break. So lots of love for the global tea break.
Yes.
So Jim, should we talk about in-person events?
Yes, let's do that. And so Tim, let's start with you. You have been going through the planning process, and you're not the only person that's had to make changes to an event because of circumstances really beyond your control, but you're still having it. And there was a lot of companies, right, over these last 2 years that, they had to cancel. It's, how do I, do I give people their money back? Do they lose their money? So tell us some of like what you've learned as you've gone through this process of setting up your first event and for perspectives on cancer.
Yeah. So some of the things I've learned is, so with showing up perspectives on cancer, it really started out as a live stream show, a weekly live stream show, and our audience is global in nature. And the in-person event is in Pennsylvania. So one of the challenges or opportunities, depending how you look at it, is who is your audience? Who is my audience for the event, right? So I tried all different things. I mentioned it on the show, the Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer show. I've mentioned it on the Tim and Jim show. I've gone on other shows like Russ Hedges shows. I've run local press releases here in the local newspapers, which they've been so generous to run, but it's really helped because we had and still have a partnership with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So the event is free. So when you have a free event with a partnership with a nonprofit, it really helps to get publicity for the event. And I even bought a local advertising campaign with a newspaper, and they also run digital advertising. But the majority of the people that signed up for the original event, they were coming from out of town. And the local advertising campaign, nobody signed up because of the local advertising campaign that I bought for like almost $400.
Ooh.
Nobody. So the second time, no local advertising campaign. One person signed up because of the press releases I sent out. Everybody else signed up because of social media, because of my live stream show, whether it's the Showing Up show, the Tim and Jim show, our show here at Jim, or going on other people's shows. That's the majority of the way that people found out. And the majority of people who were coming were from out of town, not even here.
Wow. So do you think is part of that challenge, would you say, have you built like an email marketing list for your show? But I guess even then, a lot of times people watching it aren't necessarily local, right? Kind of comes back to,
right.
This, if they're not watching the show, you're not getting a chance to get their emails where you could send it out to them. It's like, hey, I'm having this event. So I know that's, I think that's one of those struggles, right? The struggle is real. Email marketing.
The struggle is real. I haven't really, that is something I want to work on, is building an email list. I don't really have one as of right now. After the event was rescheduled, I have put out posts saying, if you want more information about the rescheduled date, send me your direct message me with your email address, and I'll put you on an email list. But I've been reaching out to people who have been on my LinkedIn contacts that I think might be interested, who have been showing up for the shows or who have been guests on the show, things like that. Or I'll email people like that. But that is a really good idea to, create an email list. I mentioned it on the shows. I'm writing that down, Jim Fuhs.
Nice.
Thank you for that. But that's kind of one of the things that I've learned, is just kind of like thinking a lot about who the audience is, and it'll be interesting to see this time around who shows up for the rescheduled event, and if it will also be a out of town audience.
Yeah, and I think so speaking of that too, so since you now have, I guess, a little bit more time, are you opening it back up for additional registrations, or is it still closed?
I am opening it back up for additional registrations, and it is open now. So people can go back to perspectivesoncancer.com, and it's all set up for the new date, which is Saturday, November 5th. It's the same times. So they can go there. I'm still working on the exact lineup. It might change a bit, but it's still the same idea of people coming together to share their stories, be supported, feel inspired, all those things. But schedule might look a little bit different. The lineup might be a little bit different. But yeah, people can go there to sign up.
Awesome.
And so I'm excited. Of course, a little bit disappointed the date changed, but I just kind of look at it as a new opportunity to kind of reimagine the event a little bit. And who knows, maybe the audience will be bigger. Maybe it'll be an even better event than it could have been the first time.
Yeah, and I think you have some opportunities here with the live event that maybe you can get your local TV folks to show up or do a story on you, right? You got a little bit more time for PR. The other thing too is, we talked about this before the show, is considering, I think you're at a minimum going to record the speakers, and maybe you can repurpose that, set up a YouTube and upload this stuff later, or maybe even attempt a live stream. But I could see where maybe, depending on where you are, it could be, the internet could be a challenge. And so at least if we record it,
we're definitely. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, we're definitely going to have a live stream of the Showing Up show during the event again. Well, not again, but this time around. So that will definitely be live streamed, and then we definitely plan on recording the sessions. I'm kind of going back and forth about live streaming the speakers, and because I want to get as many people there in person as possible, and then if I live stream it, maybe as many people won't show up in person. So it's kind of something I waffle back and forth about.
Now you're talking about breakfast food again with waffles, but
yes, let us know. Do you prefer waffles or pancakes? Yes,
I'm team waffle, but
waffle.
I think it's interesting you say that. So as you know, I just got back from an event. It's been 2 weeks ago. I went to Podcast Movement in Dallas.
Yes.
And so we did our show, or I should say, you were, at Team Pennsylvania, and I was, wandering the floor, showing you and interacting with some of the people that were there. But Ecamm, which is a great software that you can actually use with StreamYard as a virtual camera, they had a setup, and they actually were live streaming from there. They would bring people on at different parts of the day. They're actually doing that at People of Video next week in Albany, which I'll be speaking at as part of a panel on the Amazon Influencer Program. So I think it's a great opportunity, to your point, and we've done this before as well, being at events where we've had our show, right? We've either one of us has been there, or both of us have been there. We've done the Tim and Jim show before from live from Social Media Marketing World. Sometimes it's been tough because we were volunteering and finding the time to do it, but it kind of gives you a different way to look at things, how you approach approach things, but getting that it creates that, as our friend, May King would say, the FOMO, right? Like, "Gosh, I wish I was there." They look like they're having a great time, and, you're getting it out to people that aren't physically there. So even if they don't come this time, they're like, "I need to put that on my list of things I want to do." And I know, uh, I know, and maybe I excited you even, like, you may wanna go to Podcast Movement next year when you saw all the things that were going on there. I mean, it was a lot of fun, a lot of,
Yes.
uh, interaction with brands and companies, and all kinds of software stuff was there. The guys from, EV Mux were there. That's
Oh,
another, interesting, live streaming software. I mean, when we
yeah.
were in San Diego, StreamYard was there, so was, Wave.video.
Yes.
So there's a lot of different softwares for people to use when they're live streaming that can also be turned into, recorded video and repurposing for other things. And, so I think, those are some of the things I've noticed. Uh, I think another thing too that we need to consider when we go to a live event is, why are you going, right?
Yes. So
Is
important.
it meet what your goals are, whether it's as an attendee, because you're not always gonna get to speak, or you may not want to speak. I thought what was interesting, because I spoke at, Podfest in, May, and that was a full day. Me and Chris Stone, organized a full day of speakers and panels, and it was a lot of work even though it wasn't our event, but to herd all the cats, so to speak, and, get everyone set and making sure everybody had what they needed. And so we didn't necessarily, like, we couldn't go and watch other people speak. So Jeff C twisted my arm and said, "Hey, you should come to this podcast movement." And Dallas isn't too far away, but I did end up flying, which I'm glad I did because they had bad weather. I might have ended up floating to Dallas if I had attempted to drive. And but being there as an attendee, because even at Social Media Marketing World, we've been volunteers, and so your time
Right.
isn't your own. So to actually be an
Yeah.
attendee, to get to kinda wander around, and so for me, the difference in those 3 is, like, when you're a speaker, people are coming up to you, wanting to, sometimes pick your brain, learn things like that. As a volunteer, you've got responsibilities, but that's also a great way to attend live events for those of you that may not be aware. If you volunteer sometimes, you at least get, you'll get free access. They don't always give you, maybe the lodging or the transportation, but they will sometimes cover, like, you'll get to be part of some of the special parties, you'll get food, things like that. So it's definitely a way, if you're budget conscious but really wanna go to something, to consider. And then what I liked about being an attendee, and I'd actually say in all 3 cases, it's about the networking, right? Figure
Yeah.
out who are the people that are going, and do you get an opportunity to maybe start that connection, right? It's all about building know, like, and trust, right? And so, don't go in there trying to sell people, right? Just get to know people. And Chris, bro, it's great to see you. I need to send you a message because I spoke to a group last night that wants to, learn more about lately, which, is something that, I need to start using more than I do. But Chris uses it a lot, for, Chris Stone, to repurpose our, Amazon shows. We love, 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 as Tim would say, lately. It's an amazing program. Um, but yeah, so I think those are the things. So, so I can tell you that I walked away from Dallas connecting with, you know 3 companies that, I didn't, necessarily know that, if I would, but they were on my list, that I wanna talk to these people at a minimum, and at least get a, start a relationship. And that definitely happened. And then I got to meet some people that I had not had a chance to talk to before, and so, we've become, you know, you know, I'll call it friends, right? Some people might say acquaintances, but I think, that, is some of those things that are important, and then the other thing is to have fun, right? If you're not going to a conference and having fun, then why are you going? And, I think you also want to evaluate why, does this conference fit what I'm doing? I mean, I can say, one of the things that I'm looking at for 2023, now that, and not to say that things are gonna, go back to they're never gonna go back to the way they were before. Let's just put that out there on the table, Tim, is
Yeah.
being in the Amazon space, do I wanna start going to conferences that are more around Amazon so I can meet Amazon
Great point.
sellers?
Yeah.
If I'm going to a marketing conference, why am I going to that conference, right?
Yeah.
There are a ton of marketing conferences that we have not been to, right? We are missing Content Marketing World in Cleveland, Ohio. I've heard great things about it. Inbound was last week, and I know that's a lot of the HubSpot world, but still, there's a ton of people there. It's in Boston, Massachusetts, which haven't been to since I was in college. I don't know, maybe you've been there, Tim, since you live closer, but it's a different group of people. You'll see some of your peeps, so to speak, but I think those are the things you have to consider. One of my favorite conferences, which is already on my list, is Social Media Week Lima, Ohio. That's, believe in June of next year, and that's a smaller conference. It's about 300 people, but, you know, everybody is in the same room, right? So we're all watching the speakers. It's not like you're having to pick, "Oh, who do I wanna see?" Everybody is together, and I think that was something that, Jessica Phillips does an amazing job with. So I think, when you're going to an in-person event, right, how do you do that? And then Tim, I don't know, right, people talk about business cards. Are they
Yeah.
still a thing? I think they can be, but what we've done, with Dealcasters, well, I do is I carry 2 things. I have my business card, but I also have a Dealcasters card with a QR code, and that
Great idea.
QR code allows people to get all of our information about the show through a scan as opposed to worrying about, "Oh, are they gonna type things in?" and things of that nature. And if you wanna have fun even, right? 'Cause, you know how we love our swag,
Yes.
I get my 17 pieces of flair on my badge if people are handing out buttons, but we made,
Nice.
you could make some buttons, make some stickers, and just give them to people. It's something that makes them remember you, and so that's something that I think you definitely want to consider, as well as this is an opportunity for you to get people to know about you when you're at a in-person event. And then you also gotta remember, what a lot of people are doing is they are having some sort of hybrid piece to it, right? To your point, like it's a live stream of just the speaker, or they're providing recordings, and so if you can't make it, you definitely might wanna consider the virtual ticket because there's virtual networking going on, and maybe that's gonna be enough to get you to go the next time. So,
Those are
what do you think,
really
Tim?
good
Any
points.
any thoughts, ideas on that?
Yeah, those are all really, really good points. I was thinking when you were saying about, all the different conferences and, like thinking about why do you go to conferences? I've been thinking a lot about since I've been doing so much with the Showing Up show and in the cancer space, thinking about I haven't really started researching yet, but researching different events that are in the cancer space, where I could meet other cancer survivors and patients and supporters and speakers and to delve more into that area. So you had me thinking about that
Yeah,
while you
yeah,
were
I and
talking.
Ti and see, Tim, I think, and we've talked about this with what you're doing specifically, right? I mean, you're
Yeah.
getting ready to celebrate this 1st year of what I think is a very impactful show, and you probably hadn't thought like, wow, I wonder if there are events around this, right? So now maybe you're getting involved with some of the medical companies or medical conferences where you could be a speaker talking
Mhm.
about your journey, your story. I think that's an amazing, opportunity that you should definitely look into. And, you may be surprised because, I think that there's definitely a need there. I mean, the same thing with there's all these tech shows, right?
Right.
And, these things like, they have in Vegas, Chris and I were even talking about maybe we'd go to, I think it's the Consumer Expo, what CES or whatever,
Yeah.
and so then you can go meet these companies and see their products and, talk about their stuff and, so I think as we evolve as business owners, you need to also think about where am I spending my time and my money when it comes to conferences because, you're not
Yeah.
always gonna get people to, foot the bill for you. So that's where speaking can be an opportunity. Now I know it's funny sometimes because people will say, "Well, how do I get to be a speaker? Nobody ever asked me." Guess what, people? They usually don't. There's usually a
Right.
call for speakers and you apply. So look on their sites, look in advance. If you can't find the information, contact them. Say, "Hey, how do you guys get speakers?" I don't I just spoke at the Agora Pulse event last month, and it's still available, it was for agency owners. I've spoken before, but Mike Alton didn't, like, say, "Hey, Jim, we'd like you to speak." They had an application process that said, "I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna put in for it." And I told them what I wanted to talk about, and they liked what I had, to say, and they said, "Yeah, we'd love you to speak." So I think that there's this fallacy that you're just automatically being, "Oh, you're on the inside and people want you to speak." I don't think that's true. There are some people, but I'm not one of them. Tim might be, but you gotta go for it, right? You gotta, if you don't take those shots, nothing's
You
gonna
gotta
happen.
ask.
Yes,
If you don't ask, you never know. And sometimes the answer might be no, but you gotta keep asking until you get a yes.
exactly,
And it's okay
exactly.
if sometimes you get no's.
That's right. You're gonna get no's, and that's
Yeah.
okay. Then you decide, "Okay, if I can't go as a speaker, then maybe consider the volunteer route," right? Get to
Yeah,
know
that's
them,
great
and maybe
too.
it's like, "That person's not so bad. Maybe if they apply next time," or you get to know the people that are in that decision process. That's another
Right.
another thing to consider.
That's true. That's true. Hey Jim, can I show you some of the marketing materials that I got
Yeah,
for the event that
share away, Tim.
so I got these name badges done for the event through Matt Wolf from Ticket Time Machine. So
Ooh.
these are what the name badges are going to look like. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yeah. That's nice. That's
And
very
then
nice.
it has the speakers on the back.
Very nice.
It's a
Love it.
little. And then I was talking about how, so one of the other things I did to promote the event was I actually walked in Hoensdale, Pennsylvania to the local businesses. I went to the post office, to the pharmacy, to the hospital, and I walked around with these flyers and handed them out. So this is the flyer. So I
Uh
walked, good old fashioned.
I didn't know that was a thing, Tim, that people still walked around and handed out flyers. Just
Well,
kidding.
it didn't get a single person there to the event that didn't happen. So, and then Jim Fuhs, for the sponsors such as you, my friend, I had these foam boards made up, and they're still going. So these were
Ooh,
done by, I designed it in Canva and had them printed on Vistaprint. They
nice.
came out really good. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you can see it. See, there's
Yeah,
your logo right there. You
yeah.
can't see the whole thing, but it's pretty tall.
No, I can see my logo, that's all that
Yeah,
matters.
that's all that matters, right? Anyway, um, yeah, all the stuff came out.
Yeah.
But there's lots of things to think about.
Yeah, and I think too, Tim, I mean, that's those are the things, right? As a planner, you need to think about, right? How are you recognizing your sponsors? How are you getting sponsors? And I think sometimes here's another fallacy, in my opinion, because I'm dealing with this on a with a run that we do here in Atlanta for the American Legion, where we raise money for some you know, veteran causes in our area. It's not the attendees where you're really making your money. It's the
Yeah.
sponsors.
Yeah.
If you give somebody like the top billing as a sponsor and say for X dollars, you get all kinds of, they can maybe even speak on the stage or whatever.
Mhm.
That's where the money is made. You really don't usually make a lot of money on ticket sales. And so I think
Especially if
that
your event's free.
yes, that's a good point. And so I think that's one of the things that people don't always think about is, who are those companies that would wanna be at my event that it would benefit them to have, whether it's a booth or, just to be able to connect with people, or in some cases, like, because of what your, event is about and because it's touched all of us, that's why I wanted to help sponsor. It was more of like, "Hey, I wanna help Tim because I know this is a worthwhile event that is maybe gonna help somebody down the road through the connections that are made." So I think that's the other thing that people don't always, consider and when it comes to events.
Well, I really appreciate your support, Jim, and you've been so supportive throughout the whole creation of the show and the Open Your Hearts and Wallets and this event. And I've been so blown away by all this. I had never expect. I think there's been 24 sponsors plus the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's partnership. And when I first created this, I had no idea um, the amount of support that there would be. So thank you, my friend.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you for what you're doing. I think it's great. I think it's just gonna continue to get better because I know you're passionate about it, and that's what usually drives us is things that we're passionate about. And so I think
That's
it's good, And as we evolve in this journey, right, of,
the circle of
where
life.
our businesses go,
Yes.
it's because we both, right? We've definitely both of our businesses have changed from where we started 4 years ago.
Oh, a lot for sure.
Yeah, and I think
For
for the
sure.
better as well, I would say.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. So, Jim, do you have anything coming up that you want to mention going on?
Well, yeah, so Monday, I will be flying to Albany, New York for People of
Yes.
Video, and, there is a virtual ticket available, so I know I shared it on my Facebook. I can, share it in the comments here on the show. If, really deep discounted virtual tickets. Ecamm is going to be doing live streams throughout both days. It's Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, and a lot of really great people that'll be speaking. I know my friend, our friend Judy Fox will be there.
Oh, cool.
Roberto Blake's going to be there. A bunch of others. Dan Courier's putting on this event. Great event. And so yeah, so looking forward to that. I have never been to Albany, New York, so this will be a first for me. So I probably better check the weather forecast because if it's gonna be cooling off, I don't wanna show up in shorts because I might freeze. That's usually my preferred outfit in the summer is shorts and a shirt, but,
I'm sure you'll be able to find your pumpkin spice drink somewhere.
yes. And I guess, I don't know, what is Albany famous for? Any idea?
There's SUNY Albany, the state school.
Ah,
I know that. It's also the
very
state capital.
yes.
So
Yes.
there's that.
Very, very true. Yeah, so
Besides
that
that,
so
those are the two things I know.
the 2 things,
I've
yes.
also driven past it on the highway.
Ah,
I
very
don't think
good.
I've ever been actually in it before.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna attempt to go live from Albany. I will,
Okay.
uh, join you from there. So we'll maybe I can get a couple of the speakers to stop by and say hi, and,
Maybe you could find a pumpkin spice drink and bring it on the
a
show.
pumpkin, yeah, find or I'll maybe I'll find a pumpkin. right?
Oh, bring a pumpkin.
Yes.
Maybe you could find a Halloween costume also and wear it. Since it's
Well,
September,
I
try
wait
not to
till
work early.
October 1st. So Karen was wanting to
You're one of
decorate.
those
I
people.
don't allow it until October 1st. But it
Let us
but it
know
is
in the
gonna be
comments. Yeah.
Karen's birthday is Saturday, so we're gonna
Oh,
celebrate that this weekend. Yes.
nice. Happy birthday to Karen. Everybody say happy birthday, Karen, in the comments.
Yes. We won't say how
Yeah.
old she's gonna be. 29 again, I think. So
There you go.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So now this is so if you have questions about live events that we maybe didn't cover, definitely put it in the chat. We'll be happy to get back to you. And no, this has been fun, Tim. I mean, any other thoughts that you have?
No, have been a lot of fun. I always love when we get to do shows together.
Yes.
Just the two of us. We love all our guests, but it's always fun to have a literal Tim and Jim show together.
Yes. Literal is a literal, is that a word too, Tim? I don't know.
I don't know. Somebody Google it or let us know it is a literal. Now I'm scared. I'm going to Google a literal. Alliteration, a repetition of the same sound as a consonant or cluster at the beginning of two or more stressed syllables, as in from stem to stern. Look at what you guys are learning from us today.
Yes.
You're welcome.
We do what we can. Oh gosh.
Well, on that note,
so thank you everyone for attending today. We got a lot of great shows coming up the rest of this year, and don't forget, if you can, first weekend in November, right, Tim?
Yes, first weekend of November 5th.
November 5th. If you're in the Eastern Pennsylvania area, consider heading to Tim's event on Perspectives on Cancer.
Perspectivesoncancer.com. I put the link in the comments. If you have any questions, just send me a direct message or a smoke signal. Send me a pumpkin spice coffee. I take those too. But thanks everyone for coming to another episode of the Tim and Jim Show, and we will see you next week live from Jim's going to be in Albany. Do you say Albany, Jim?
Albany. In Georgia, there's a Albany, Georgia, Doherty County. That's how they say it.
There you go.
So, yes.
Yes.
Sure, I'll get flack for that later, but that's okay.
It is okay. It is okay. Well, see y'all, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone. Bye, Jim.